Greetings and welcome to The Second Sign. Today we are revisiting a story that we looked at more than 5 years ago. If you were with us in the pre-show, you would have caught I did a replay of the 2 videos that I've already made about this particular story. Those of you in the United Kingdom would probably recognise the name Jeremy Kyle, possibly in other parts of the world as well. I know he did a version of his Jeremy Kyle show in the United States. I'm not sure how well received it was, but a Jerry Springer type character, and there was a lot of controversy around his show at the end. Obviously I like to take an alternative look. I mean, the press might be saying one thing and I like to kind of say, could it be, what else could be going on here? So that's the purpose of tonight's stream. We're gonna revisit and say, has anything happened, has anything materialized lately that could suggest I was right to say it was not as reported? Is there any reason to think that? Right, so without further ado, we'll get going. Jeremy Kyle, on in the United Kingdom from the early 2000s, maybe 2003, 2004. Tell you what, we will get some information. We'll confirm that. I'm going to say it was about 2004 he probably started his show, because before him was a program called there was Trisha Goddard, but it was another person, not Lorraine. Her name will come to me in a minute. It was an ITV, like, morning confrontation show. I think she went over to Channel 5. I just can't think of her name at the minute. I want to say Vicky or Ricky or something like that, but whatever the lady's name was, yes, is that ended up being taken. Vanessa Feltz, that was it. She had a show and it was taken off after it turned out that actors were being used on the set. And then the Jeremy Kyle show began. And anyone who might have thought that Vanessa Feltz having a show closed down for using actors meant the end of using actors, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that's just how it seems to be done. Not necessarily all the way. I'm not going to say every person that goes on the Jeremy Kyle show is a paid actor, but I've seen at least one example of, well, more than one example, but situations that I thought were a bit suspicious. Looked like scripted reality, which is things I've made. I've covered that subject, scripted reality, an awful lot. The reason I've come back to it is I saw a video by a YouTuber. We're going to watch a little bit of it, but we're going to have a look at his channel in just a second, and I'll show you why I'm reluctant to play the entire thing. Unusual Things. I'm not sure if you've heard of this channel. Just bring up my display a second. It's on a subject now, according to this video. Yeah, if we go to his channel, Unusual Things, he has a section in the about. Hope you can read this. All the video work that I conduct is copyright Unusual Things, and you are prohibited from using it without my prior permission. Now, yeah, that's perfectly understandable. My policy's always been, if anyone wants to re-upload my content, use my content, at least give me some credit for it. But I wouldn't ever prohibit anyone from sharing the information I like to put out. In fact, I have seen some of my videos up on other people's channel, and they seem to be Yeah, they seem to be fairly well received. So Unusual Things did a video just the other day. Steve Dymond, Jeremy Kyle guest who took his own life. I find his abandoned burial plot. Yeah, I would recommend watching this because there's some very interesting information that comes out due to him saying he doesn't want anyone watching his content. He doesn't want anyone using it. I'm only going to use a little bit. Obviously, this is, you know, fair use rules apply when it comes to people's copyrighted content. You are doing it for the purposes of review, education, then hang on. Then yeah, you are allowed to as long as you are doing commentary over the top of it. We're certainly not going to use any of his audio, maybe a couple of seconds of his audio, but he does share some interesting things, one of which, if you include the S word, which anyone watching in the pre-show, I showed that I did a reruns of the two videos I've made about Jeremy Kyle and Steve Dymond, and I suggested it was, you'll have to find them. I will put links in the description, certainly to this person's video. I'll put it in the live chat now as well, very quickly. Let me just do that. If anyone wants to say hello in the live chat, it's great to know you're tuning in with us today. Right. I'll put, what is it? What's his channel called? Stranger Things? No, Unusual Things, I believe. Yeah, let me just put a link in the live chat. Put it in the description once we're done. Yeah, he said and I've noticed other people have objected to using this word in their video, the S word. I'm not gonna say it, but it will appear in headlines. How censored is that? It's a subject that people should be encouraged to talk about. Don't make it a taboo subject that no one, when people are feeling like absolute crap, oh, it's a shameful thing to talk about it, we won't let YouTube videos be made with that name in it. I think that's the wrong way. I actually was under the impression people were encouraged to talk about such emotions. Right, guest who took his own life. Yeah, you can say ended one's life, of course. Unlived himself, I guess, would be, I'm not sure. I'm going to avoid saying it, though, as best I can tonight, even though it is at the key to the subject we're looking at. Okay, well, we've got our web browser up. This is one of the videos I did on the subject. The Jeremy Kyle Publicity Stunt, May 2019. And yeah, and then I came across this person's video. It also turns out they have released footage of the show, the Jeremy Kyle show, that was never aired. This guy uses it on his video. Wonder if he got ITV's permission to use it. But whether he did or not, he is using it. Wait for this advert to skip over a minute. Yeah, this was the Jeremy Kyle show. Every weekday mornings, Monday to Friday, 9:35 till 10:30ish, and you would see guests given things like lie detectors, or Jeremy Kyle would have a go at them for being a layabout or a terrible father or mother. Oh, I don't want to copyright. I don't obviously want to use this guy's footage, as he's specifically asked us not to do so. I only noticed that note just before this stream was due to go live. But yeah, I was planning to watch it throughout from start to finish. I can find the footage of the Sky News for some reason broadcasted it. Apparently, it was shown at the inquest of Steve Dymond, which was held rather recently, and I think that's why Unusual Things made a video about it. So we're going to have a look at that as well. The second. Yeah, of course. Underneath Unusual Things' video is a link to the Samaritans, anyone affected by these subjects. Yes, certainly get yourself some help and assistance. Yeah, we are over on Rumble tonight, so if anyone's tuned in over there, it would be great to know you're watching. If you want to say hello in the live chat, it would certainly make my day. I'm going to share links in that live chat as well. And in just a second, we're going to watch. We're going to have a look at. We're going to have a look at the Jeremy Kyle episode where Steve Dymond was on there failing a lie detector. Only a few moments of it. So yeah, bear with me 1 second. Thank you for your patience while we line it up. Right. Sky News. Let me just find the link. Yeah, it turned out not long after the ending of Steve Dymond's life, another person also took theirs. It was a producer for. It was a producer on the Jeremy Kyle show, so I suggested they used the same publicity stunt twice. Right, Jeremy Kyle. Yeah, this is the unaired clip taken from Sky News, although it isn't on their channel. Again, here's something that could very likely get my channel, could get my video restricted. If it does happen that the stream suddenly ends, then it means that YouTube have blocked my video for copyright reasons. The minute I stop showing copyright stuff, they will generally let the stream continue. So if it does go off, yeah, just hang around a minute or two. Hopefully the stream will come back. That's if anyone's watching us this evening. Hope they are. Jeff Gashead, great to be with you. Yeah, put in the live chat, hi guys, plural. That might be being a bit optimistic. It's great if my viewer, the people in the live chat are more than one, then wonderful. But yeah, guys, is at least very hopeful of you. Thanks for being with us this evening, Jeff. It's really appreciated. I'm fairly confident you're from the United Kingdom and would know Jeremy Kyle. If not, then just think, who was that white-haired guy from the 80s? Kilroy Silk or something like that. What a lovely name, by the way, Kilroy. Nothing suspicious about that. Right. I'm going to make sure you can hear the audio a second. Let me see. Hopefully it doesn't cause some awful echo. Right, a clip of the unaired Jeremy Kyle show with Steve Dymond on it, if you haven't already seen it.
Jane is here to find out whether her partner indeed cheated on her. She says from the day she met Steve, this guy's lied about.
By the way, I hope you can hear that all right. I'm just going to check. Yeah, audio sounds okay. So I'm going to put myself on mute while we just watch a few seconds of this, just to give you a feel of it. just give my voice a rest as much as anything.
About his age, she's lied about being in the Navy, even making up grandkids that he doesn't have. She says that she is utterly convinced he's cheating. Has checked this, some of his Viagra tablets have gone missing and he didn't use them with her. This lady says, sort of humiliated, don't want to do it, but I have to.
Yeah, I mean, what a subject. The sorts of information people would reveal on the Jeremy Kyle show was absolutely shocking. Talking about he's using Viagra and just stuff the normal, decent human being wouldn't generally share with the whole world, which again makes me wonder if some of it is, I don't know, maybe people are literally shameless, or they yeah, or they're being paid to say these things. I don't know. Right, well, carry on.
Jane is next on the Kyle show, that way. Come here and do a lie detector.
It was his.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did say to him that I wanted him to have one done, but it was him that phoned up the show. Do you know?
This guy, can I just say, are you together at the moment, you two?
Yes.
Can I just say about this guy, he was on some medication, I believe, it doesn't matter what medication. So keen was he to come and do this lie detector. He went to his doctors and he found out about whether that was OK to do a lie detector. This guy's on after the break. He is absolutely determined to prove to you that this is just... He says, I've probably said a few white lies in the past to impress... Well, I'm just... Don't start on me, I'll say that.
Okay, again... they certainly seem to be talking about Steve as a bit of a hero. I think with hindsight, didn't it turn out... We'll have a look at the outcome of the inquest. And by the way, inquest taking 5 years. What's that all about? Is that a regular thing, that an inquest can take that long? Thank God I've never had to deal with one or be part of an, you know. So long may it continue that way. So I'm not an expert, but maybe... They can take 5 years, who knows?
But he says he loves you and he's going to pass 100%.
I do. I think he does love me. I do.
Do you think he'll pass, yes or no?
There's something wrong with him.
Do you think he'll pass?
I'm 50-50.
All right, she's 50-50. He's on next, Steve. We're back with him, an all-important lie detector after this break. Coming right back. Don't go anywhere. What do you mean by that? Why'd you lie so much?
If I knew the answer to that, Jeremy, I wouldn't be here.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, that's a strange thing to say. If I knew why I lied so much, I wouldn't be here. Suggesting that he's not here for lie detector, he's here for the aftercare they give. They do make a lot, you know, they go on frequently about this guy being used by, using the services of, well, pushers of pharmaceuticals, let's put it that way. We'll let him carry on.
I just lied to her for no reason.
Still to this day?
No. Since we split up and got back together, I've never lied once to her.
Why did you in the past? To impress her? What? You tell my team I'm made up about being in the Navy.
Yeah.
And then somehow, you know, I got caught up in my own lies.
I did want to be in the Royal Navy, but I failed because I was...
Okay, I'm not just gonna steal all the Jeremy Kyle show. As it turns out, he ends up doing the lie detector test, and of course is he fails it, and I believe it came down to, I believe it was due to some... I thought the story went that Jeremy Kyle had sorry, no, the guy was on medication and it messed up the results or something. But perhaps we'll have a look at that. One thing I do want to look at, when this gentleman stands up in just a sec, does anything look a bit unusual there? Can anyone notice something a bit strange about the guy? perhaps he doesn't look quite as you might expect him to. And I want to get a close up on him, because as you can see from the legs, it's the legs of someone who is fairly, you know, they're not ridiculously overweight, I wouldn't say. All this up here looks like padding. You know, again, the arms, I suppose the arms are, you know, fairly thick, but I'm not sure. I would suggest that this guy is under his shirt padded up. It's just how it looks to me. Almost like they're trying to cover a pair of breasts, perhaps. I'm not sure. Make your own judgment on that. By the way, great to see Nathan in the live chat. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, were you guys big fans of Jeremy Kyle? To be honest, again, I have guilty pleasures. He's one of the. It would be one of these things, which, if he was on, yeah, put him on. You know, just because it was humorous as much as anything. It was once described in court as human bear baiting, which, yeah, you can understand that look at it. I did originally, when this stream, when the Jeremy Kyle show ended, I predicted they would follow the same pattern as Jerry Springer did. Jeremy Kyle had a security guard called Steve, just like Jerry Springer happened to have. And Jerry Springer's Steve went on to host the show himself once that was disgraced for one reason or another, and was forced to go off air. I think after two women really started scrapping. I'm gonna just guess one of them was probably wearing red. If you remember one of my previous streams, yeah, red seems to be significant, but we won't go too off subject. Yeah, I got it wrong. Steve, Jeremy Kyle's security guard, didn't end up being a presenter, so hold my hand up there. Yeah, Jeff in the live chat puts a, I don't know. It does look very convincing though as he cries. I will give him that. If he is an actor, he's a good one, because although the voice was a bit high, yeah, the voice is quite high pitched. Now the name Dymond, is it play on? It isn't spelt Diamond. It's spelled Dymond, which I've never seen that as a surname before. If you're into the numbers, then you may know Dymond in its traditional spelling. Okay, we've already got, hopefully you can see the small text there. Steve Dymond is a 48 in Chaldean, 47 in Pythag, and is it Jeremy Kyle? Is likewise, I thought. Yeah, Jeremy Kyle's a 48 and in Pythag, whereas Steve Dymond is in the other one. Yeah, the traditional spelling of Dymond is a 33, so I'm a 26. If you're into your dual numbers, 48 seemed to come up a couple of times. But yeah, anyway, does anything come from this story then which might suggest I was correct to say it was a publicity stunt and Steve Dymond isn't really laying in the ground? We'll go back to the video we were watching a bit earlier. Yeah, if I were to take this as a legitimate program, legitimate guests on the show, and that they are real, they do come from Portsmouth or the New Forest or something like that, they were from that part of the world, then yeah, I would say he is very convincing. Now, yeah, I certainly wouldn't suggest every single person that ever appeared on the Jeremy Kyle show is an actor, because yeah, there are people. You know, there was a guy from Bristol who I saw in the street once, and unless he was on the, you know, doing the role there and then, walking through the centre of Bristol, it was as real as he looked on Jeremy Kyle. I also remember in Bath bus station, not long before this couple appeared on there, and they were awful. You know, they were shouting and swearing. They were like Chav Overdrive, and yeah, I saw them at Bath bus station arguing one morning, possibly on the way to the show. Yeah, not long before they aired anyway. So yeah, certainly some people that made it onto Jeremy Kyle, I'm sure, were not actors. Some were probably genuine people that came for one reason or another. But let's not forget Vanessa Feltz, that came before Jeremy Kyle, which went from 2005 to 2019. Was taken off air because they were using actors. I'm sure that's unless the news has been Feltz talk show controversy. Can I spell controversy? Contro. There we go. Right. Whether... Okay, I'm not sure. Does Vanessa Feltz have her own Wikipedia post? Because I'm pretty confident it would be... Nah. Vanessa Feltz show. ITV show, of course. Goodness. Okay, unless I'm thinking of a different program, I'm sure it was taken off air due to actors were being used. Although it said she went... Okay, maybe it wasn't Vanessa Feltz, but there was definitely one that did end up ending. Yeah, unfortunately they don't say... I don't know. Okay, I'll have to look, you know. Maybe it was a different one, but one of these morning talk shows were, yeah, one of them were definitely taken off air. Anyway, so yeah, this video uploaded by the channel Unusual Things. Thanks to them for this bit of content, because what this guy does is he seems to go around and find famous gravestones. And what do you think he found when he went to find the gravestone of Steve Dymond? Or I say gravestones, abandoned burial plot. By the way, too, Jeff and Nathan, if you're still with us in the chat, taking 5 years for an inquest, is that regular? As I said, fortunately I've never had to take part in an inquest. So, yeah, if that's a normal amount of time for an inquest to take, then wow. Yeah, this guy, what did he find? Well, although he's prohibited people from using his content, I think for the purposes of fair use, we will... I'll tell you what he did, which was quite clever. He lined up in order to find it, and the reason he had to find it was because there is no plot, there is no headstone, which you could consider unusual. I mean, don't, at the very least, plots get marked out with like wooden little piece of the wood gets stuck in the ground, just so, as far as I know. Yeah, this is a image, supposedly, of Steve Dymond's coffin being laid to rest, with all of 3 people at the funeral. I would have thought he would have got a few more than that, personally. I mean, considering his death was very high profile, they announced it within, certainly within a week, unless he had a very quick funeral, I don't know. But yeah, well done to the YouTuber, sorry, Unusual Things. I have shared a link to this video in the description, and I will put it in, sorry, I put it in the live chat, and I will also put it in the description. What he finds, right, I'm just going to use a couple of seconds of his audio.
And this is the black coffin
We'll get there. Right.
So here is the black coffin, the black headstone that's slightly leaning. Here is the one with the 2 turrets. I'll come over and I'll bring the camera over and show you. And this is where Mr. Dymond is buried. And there's
Really? Are you 100% sure that anyone's actually buried there? I mean, what have you got to back up that claim, other than that they had a coffin, a picture was taken of a coffin? Isn't it interesting that a funeral to which a photographer attended and took pictures of it, was important enough to be attended by a photographer, this guy's funeral, but not by hardly anyone else? Then the fact that there is no headstone, I would say, might kind of go towards supporting my claim that his suicide from the beginning is was a publicity stunt. Jeff said it's too long. Yeah, as I say, I'm no expert, but we will have a look for the article, Steve Dymond inquest. I think it was in the news recently, probably covered by every single media outlet. Steve Dymond, let's just see what that brings up. Yeah, the 10th of September, final day of inquest into the death of a man who appeared on Jeremy. Isn't it interesting? The guy wasn't important enough to have anyone attend his funeral, or even have a headstone, but is important enough that his inquest is reported by the BBC, the Southern Daily Echo, the Laos Nationalist, the Mirror, let's see, Sky News, the Metro, ITVX, you know, pretty much all the major British media outlets covered this person's, covered this story. And yet, no headstone, no guests at his funeral, just a single photo. Right. Hang on, were the BBC actually live, covering this like live, with up to the minute, you know, updates on someone's inquest? Wow, that is dedication. This story was updated like constantly. ITV says coroner confirmed show had comprehensive duty of care process. Right, let's see. What is an inquest? Let's get the Wikipedia answer. A judicial inquiry to ascertain the facts relating to an incident. An inquiry by a coroner's court. So that would suggest a jury, is that right? So a coroner's court into the cause of death. Public fact-finding inquiry conducted by a coroner designed to establish where, when, and how someone died. Right, do they have... Do they... Let's just do a quick search. I'll put... Find... Jury. Right, the purpose of the inquest is to discover the facts of the death. This means that the coroner or jury cannot find a person or organisation currently responsible for the death. However, it is evidence. Okay. So, if they wanted to say, for example, carry out legal proceedings against the Jeremy Kyle show, then that would be, they would use evidence from an inquest. So that's the purpose of it done. Thanks to the BBC giving us up-to-date, minute-by-minute information on his inquest. Even Steve Dymond's son got quoted. It's only a good thing that the show is cancelled. I'm not sure I agree with that. It was good entertainment. Gave a lot of actors the chance to appear. Unsafe. And of course, at BBC Action Line, it does seem that every media outlet has their own, like, suicide... Oh, goodness, sorry, I'm not allowed to say that word. Scrub the last word from the records. I've tried so hard not to use that word, because by all accounts, using the S word that we're not going to say again is enough to have a video removed by all accounts, and this channel is clinging on by the skin of its teeth. 2 strikes, 1 more, and the channel's a goner, so I don't want any more videos taken down. So I'm being very cautious. Aftercare records from the Jeremy Kyle show state that Steve was emotionally contained. Yes, it came out, I believe, that this guy had attempted to unalive himself more than once, and he had major health, mental health issues as well. So they found nothing in notes criticising the Jeremy Kyle show. There. Okay, so it was cleared. He was cleared, sorry. Kyle exonerated of ill-informed accusation. I wonder who made that. Yeah, because that was, again, Kyle was wiped from the face of television overnight, just like that. He went so quickly. I believe he has come back now on some other... I think he's some sort of talk show host, presenter now. He's still going. But yeah, he was quite publicly, his program was quite publicly shamed and whatnot. Okay, the conclusion. He had a history of self-harm and blank intention, and Dymond's mental distress was probably exacerbated by his belief that his relationship had irretrievably broken down following his participation in the lie detector test, which indicated he had lied to his partner. Yeah, I have heard it suggested that lie detectors are, I mean, there's no test that gives a definitive yes they're lying, no they're not lying. By all accounts, it is just readings which is then interpreted by the, not choreographer, but whatever the ographer they call the person looking at the lie detector test. Yeah, it's their conclusion on whether or not someone else is lying. I believe Trisha Goddard did a very similar thing on Channel 5, where she, rather than having a lie detector, they had a military interrogator that would come in and sit down with a guest and start interrogating them on whether or not they were being truthful. And some could argue, yeah, that is pretty much what a lie detector is anyway. Who knows? Yeah, Jeff says he's on GB News. You're absolutely right. Jeff also asks, how did he get morphine? It would affect the lie. The test. Was he reported to have been using that? I don't know. Let's see if it shows up anywhere in this article. You might be correct. I didn't hear that one though. Unless we skipped over it. Sorry if the text is very hard to read, by the way. That makes it a bit more. Yeah, a BBC reporter was at this Winchester's coroner court all day listening to this. On the 2nd of May. Dymond attended the ITV studios to be a Jeremy Kyle show guest. The presentation of style of Kyle himself, which could be critical of guests, was also known to him. Before the show was recorded, Dymond took a polygraph test. That's the name. A series of questions were asked, including, since the start of your relationship, have you kissed anyone, etc., etc. Dymond cleared to appear by mental health nurse. Okay. Whatever did or didn't happen to Steve Dymond, I am certainly going to stick with my original, although it may sound, you know, morbid and disrespectful and heartless. I'm going to say, while it is all those things, don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, Steve Dymond was unfortunately a publicity stunt. The fact that there is no headstone, as discovered by the YouTuber Unusual Things, is just more, you know, supports my case, if you ask me. That is how I'm gonna look at things on this one. And yeah, that's probably more or less roughly where we're gonna start winding things down. I'm not sure if there is any. Yeah, I'm gonna put links, by the way, in the description to a couple of videos I've put up on this. We watched them in the pre-show. If you happen to be with us, then yeah, it was called the Jeremy Kyle Show Publicity Stunt and something else about Jeremy Kyle. Okay, have we got anything else to cover before we wrap things up? I'm not sure. Thanks, however, anyone who is with us this evening, both on YouTube and Rumble. If you have enjoyed what you've watched so far this evening and you want to show your appreciation, hitting the thumbs up button before you leave is always a very kind way of doing that. Subscribing and sharing likewise. Yeah, this is, I did mention earlier, my YouTube channel is teetering on the brink of destruction by YouTube. They're just waiting to drop the hammer. If I get another strike in the next month or so, then it's a goner. So I'm certainly not making as many videos as I did. At least not on this channel. I am still putting content out. Yeah, I make a lot of videos about cats on my other channels, and my TikTok channel's just hit 500 followers and is fast catching up on YouTube, which is anyway, right, no one wants to know about that. It's getting late and I'm starting to ramble, and sometimes I don't know where the off switch is. So we're not going to let that happen. Thanks Jeff and Nathan for being kind enough to say hello in the chat. Really appreciate you being with us this evening. Right, before we go, I am gonna just share a couple of links to the 2 videos. Yeah, one. No, sorry, I've already. No need. One was called the Jeremy Cole Publicity Stunt. Right, I do have a thanks sheet that I put up. However, something needs to be etched out of it. Basically, let me see. There is no Cash App now in the United Kingdom, so anyone that did think of doing such a thing, don't worry about that. But to all the names on the list, I thank you for your support. Okay, we're gonna start saying goodnight. I am planning to be back sooner or later. Yeah, Jeff mentions putting my shovel back. Sorry, Jeff, it's getting late and I'm not following. Am I digging myself a? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, unless you're on about stop digging for the end of my channel. Yeah, you could. I'm with you on that. Yeah, try and keep subjects light, like suggesting people's unaliving themselves is a publicity stunt. We're keeping things light-hearted. We're not talking about medicine, for goodness sake. We're not doing anything that goes against the words of the WHO or something. Yeah, it is WHO. They're the authority, they're the man when it comes to talking about pharmaceuticals, not me, so I'm not going to do any video talking on that subject anymore, as I've had 2 videos taken down in the last month or so and was suspended on both occasions. However, all the content that got removed off YouTube is still on BitChute and Rumble, so you could have a look for my channels over on those platforms if you wish, if you use them. Otherwise, yeah, I will be back, God willing, before too long. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. It's nearly midnight here, so Sunday is about to come to a close. Back soon. Thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, talking about keeping it light-hearted, the first word in my intro and outro video happens to be about, you know, someone asking if they're being accused of causing AIDS. So it's as light-hearted as that, at least. Okay, I'm going to wish everyone a great start to their week and hope you will make it back on the next stream. Thanks for tuning in. Over and out. Good night.
I'm not sure why you're asking the question. Are you accusing me of launching AIDS?